We are live. This is Travis from Carter Cow Capital, helping you fight for your financial freedom throughout the Forex market. I hope everybody's doing very well on this Wednesday morning. I'm showing myself on the screen down here, getting everything else situated. If you are new or if this is your first time watching one, thank you for being able to pop in. And what we do here is we end up talking about stuff from NAS 100, US 30, DAX, XPX 500, Forex pairs, gold, Bitcoin, and anything else that we can be able to talk about, obviously, as we go through and get everything else situated within our 30-minute session. So I'm going to go through the disclaimer, and then after that, we'll go ahead and start jumping right into the pairs and being able to place in some overall activity and see if we have any trading activity that we can be able to take advantage of. And if not, obviously, we'll look to be able to get ready for what's going to end up happening up on Thursday, because we have GDP that's going to end up happening on Thursday. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. I'm not a CTA, so I'm not going to tell you whether to buy or to sell. What I'm going to do is teach you education, and from the education, you can be able to make your own informed decision. You understand that trading involves risk. It involves risk of being able to make money, also involves risk of being able to lose money. So please keep that in mind. And understand that past performance is not indicative of future results. Excuse me. So what that means is that if you end up making money yesterday, it is not promised that you can end up making money today. So with that being said, hopefully everybody's doing very well. Hope everybody has had a very good trading week as of yet. And hopefully you've been able to catch up with some of this volatility that we have been getting when it comes down to movement overall. Literally, we end up talking about some trades on Bitcoin, and I think I'm going to start off with Bitcoin today because Bitcoin has been moving over the course of the last couple of days. We've seen some of the same patterns over and over and over again, and finally, these patterns are kind of leading to a lot of movement to the upside. So I'm actually going to jump right into Bitcoin. Typically, I don't do that, but I'm going to jump right into Bitcoin and be able to go in from there. For the people that are watching live, like always, if you want to be able to place the messages in either through the live messaging system, I'm seeing that I'm still getting that delay. Arizona, what's going on? Hope everything's going well with you. So obviously, you know that you can be able to message me in our community area, and then after that, we can be able to go from there. It's totally up to you about how you end up getting that done. Makes it a little bit easier for me to be able to see your messages faster if that does happen. So I'm going to jump right into Bitcoin on this one, and we'll see what's been going on overall. Now, remember, we talked about this last night, and if you was in last night's session, in which I will end up having a posting of that on my YouTube page, we end up talking about how this market was starting to show signs of being able to break out, and start to be able to make that October push that everyone has kind of been expecting overall. The first push that we end up getting into was when the market ended up breaking out at 19,350. We end up talking about that movement overall, and then after that, once the market ended up, 19,350, we said we wanted to get out at 20,350. End up making that move, big move overall. Super happy about that move for everyone to end up doing that. And then after that, we end up saying if the market ends up breaking out at 20,350, then the next area where the market could potentially end up going will be right around 22 for that overall movement. And currently, right now, it seems like that is the move overall that is happening. We end up saying, where was it? 22,750 was the next area where I thought that the market could potentially end up going. I think that what people are going to end up saying is we had this big breakout, and I think that FOMO is going to start being able to push in because people are going to be like, okay, well, now it's time to start being able to make that push to the upside. And I would not necessarily disagree with anybody when it comes down to that movement. I think that currently right now the market has been settled inside of a consolidation area since August, and now it's time to be able to see a large push. So it wouldn't surprise me, especially after being able to see what some of the messages that have been said about this one. I think overall what was said, it was something that something that somebody ended up saying. 705 million crypto shorts were liquidated today when it came down to that movement. So that's how you end up having a big push to the upside. Now, the question is, if you're not in, how can you be able to get in? I've heard to get that flag BTC before trade. Yeah, we end up seeing this trade right here. I believe that we end up talking about this one on Monday when it ended up happening. End up getting into that movement right there. End up getting out right here. I did not catch this movement right here. I did not place in a pending order, unfortunately. I thought it was going to end up going down just a little bit more before doing that. And obviously, Bitcoin is one of those pairs where when it's ready to go, it's ready to go. So the market has already moved off of that one. That kind of gets me kind of interested in seeing what happened with Ethereum. And you know that the altcoins are going to start being able to make their movements as well. So same movement. You can see the same exact movement overall. Large consolidation, triangle, big move to the upside. Uh, so flag right there to the upside. Market ended up making a push. Then after that, you know that you're in a very good trending area when you're starting to see uh, mean reversions. When you're starting to see that the market has basically a push, a rejection, or basically a retracement, and then after that, you're starting to see a push up to the upside. So uh, I think that we're there. I think that now is the point to where we can start being able to truly consider being able to get into these moves and feel comfortable with them. The next area where this market could potentially go is 1654. So keep that in mind when it comes down to Ethereum, not United States, but Bitcoin. Obviously, 22,000 for that next move that I think it could be able to push up to. So if you did not get in while the market was basically accumulating in this area, then please do not miss out on the train when the market is starting to be able to make its move. Now, I think that it's time to be able to go when it comes down to get on pairs like this. I will look for a counter trend line break on a 15-minute and see if you can be able to ride it, and then kind of see how the market kind of plays itself out. I don't think that I think there's a lot more room for this market to be able to start moving because the weekly is in the buy zone, and because the weekly is in the buy zone, and we don't have so much of a drop down. There should be an expectation that the market could start being able to make a push to the upside overall. Okay, so there we go. Let's go ahead and take a look at the United States dollar index, and this would be a good time to be able to talk about what's going on with the economic calendar as well. Uh, we are a day before GDP, and the Bank of Canada is going to end up having an interest rate decision, and then after that, obviously, we're going to end up having our GDP tomorrow. It does kind of alarm me that the move is already starting to happen when it comes down to this. Not really, but we end up talking about this earlier. We legitimately end up talking about this earlier on euro, pounds, and JPY pairs, and I'm going to focus in on those today when it comes down to movements because I think that all of those pairs are ready to go. Um, we end up saying if the market broke below 13,411, that I expected that the market was going to fall down to 13,300. Boom, there it is. Market ended up making that push to the downside. If you end up taking a trade off of that pair based off of that movement, congratulations. We said that was going to end up being basically the first area where the market was going to end up falling to the downside because we end up having just like any type of vortex trade, market ends up getting into strong consolidation. You have that push, you had a breakout, you had a retest, market broke the counter trend line break, and a strong push to the downside, a very strong push to the downside. So there we go. Now the question is, how much of a retracement are we going to end up getting before being able to see the next movement? Because this is at the top. This is basically turning past support into future. Turning past resistance into a future support. The question is, are we going to see the market start to push back up to the 512 area, or are we going to see this market truly start to be able to fall, break this inner trend line at 13,200, and then after that start going to the next area where I believe that the market will fall back down to, which will end up being basically 13,000. Keep this in mind. When the market breaks the support, it will end up falling down to a support. It's just going to keep on happening like that. It happens with any type of movement. So all of those support in the areas that we end up talking about going up, we're going to end up seeing them do the same thing going down. Okay, so just keep that in mind as the market is trending, being able to make its move. I'm going to see what people are saying on YouTube. I don't know. I didn't see any messages earlier, but I'm going to see if anybody's saying something about that. Okay. No, I don't see anything else right now at this point. But yeah, we are looking at that overall. So that will kind of get me. I will, to be honest, I'm probably going to end up focusing in on Forex pairs today. I'm probably just going to focus in on. We'll take a look at pound United States dollar, euro United States dollar, and U.S. Japanese yen. I'm in on U.S. Japanese yen. I'm not in on pound United States dollar and euro United States dollar, which kind of gets me a little bit more concerned because I think those moves have already started to happen based off of what I'm looking at right here. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get into Yep, there it is. Australian dollar, United States dollar broke the counter trend line break. Big move to the upside. Euro, United States dollar, big move to the upside. Completed the overall D extension. Didn't give us a chance. It gave us a chance. It gave us a triangle. It told us that it was ready, and we did. I didn't make that move. That's on me. My automation system caught it, but I did not catch it. I did not catch it with my with a large stake. So first move's done. Off of this one, the market ended up hitting parity at 1.001 on Euro United States dollar. What we have to do is just wait for a counter trend line break and see if we can be able to catch the next move. Obviously, the next move is going to end up going to 102.80, being able to push back up into those areas. So we kind of go from there. That means that pound has already made a move. Actually, the pound is making this move kind of slowly. Um, let's see what's the D extension on the pound. I think that we might get a little bit of room off of this one. Okay, so we are in a push zone. Market could be able to go to 1.1839. 15 minute, 15 minute. I will look for a counter trend line break, see how the market kind of reacts. That would be the move that I would look at being able to possibly try to get into. It's kind of getting in late in the party when it comes down to this movement. But I'll look for a breakout retest and then see if this market can be able to push up to the upside. Uh, I typically don't trade in the London session anymore, and I think that we missed it because of being able to. Well, what time did it move? Yeah, we missed it during the London session. Golly, and we talked about that last night. Definitely talked about that last night. Um, let's see, but um, we'll definitely be able to get something out of that coming back. US yen. Let's talk about the one that we did get into because I've been trying to. Sorry, I've been trying to ride this one out for a long time because I felt like the pair that had the biggest chance of being able to make the biggest move off of this to the downside and being able to take advantage of it would be US yen. Um, yeah, gold doesn't surprise me at all because obviously you're looking at how much of a stronghold the United States dollar had on a move, then you probably should see that the market was going to end up pushing to the downside off of that. Um, from a weekly perspective, market is in the sell zone. We see that the market is trying to be able to make it, trying to be able to break this counter trend line break to the downside. If it does break it, then we're looking at 144. I mean, yeah, 144.80 and 141.70. I still have a trade in that we end up getting into on. Uh, still have a trade in that we end up getting into on the 24th and yesterday at 147.78 and 148.13. I'm kind of mad that when I end up riding this joker up to the upside, that I didn't ride it to the downside. Um, when the market ended up breaking 153, I held in. I mean 151. I held in on the trade going to the upside. Made a big move off of that with the automation system, the FX Skywalker, and then after that. I did not turn around and U-turn and just get into it when the market was starting to be able to make its push to the downside. Off of that first push to the downside. Um, so that's on me, but I feel comfortable about being able to see how the market's kind of moving right now at this point. From a daily perspective, the market's at 44%. Doesn't mean that the market is losing steam off of that move, and I think it's the complete opposite. Depending on what ends up happening earlier in the 8:30 session today, the market will probably end up pushing up slightly, have a little bit of consolidation to be able to work with, and then after that, I think that you may end up seeing the move truly start to happen again. Let's take a look at the 2 hour and see if that can be able to confirm it a little bit. So we had this triangle, end up getting in off of this movement to the downside. Market broke out, retested um, the 127, the 127 that we end up talking about was right around 148. So end up getting in right around 148.13. The high was at 148.89. So if you end up getting in right at that point, then great move. Now it's just hey, let's be able to hold off and kind of see that movement to the downside and go from there. Uh, Thank you for the coins. I do appreciate that. Um, Now we're seeing that ultimately the market is kind of pushing back to the natural supports. 144 is still an area. 141.70 is the take profit position where I'm thinking that I will look at being able to take off this first pair. The reason why I say that is because of this. If the market ends up hitting this inner trend line and then after that breaking down, it's probably going to end up hitting 141, 144 first. It will have to retest from there, and then after that, try to move toward the outer trend line. If that happens, then that's what a true test is going to end up happening, because if it breaks below that area, then we're talking about going all the way to 138 and possibly even below that. With 130 being like the true area where I think that the market could potentially end up going. It's not going to get there tomorrow. Just keep that in mind. But over time, I think it will probably end up getting to that position to the downside overall. Okay, so that's something to be able to pay attention to when it comes down to overall movements for its U.S. yen, pound, U.S. and euro, United States dollar. So all of my automation systems and everything else like that, I'm going to end up firing and trying to get ready and get prepared for that movement, because I believe that's going to end up happening overall. We'll kind of go from there. We are going to how much time we got? We only been doing this for 15 minutes. Let's take a look at let's go ahead and take a look at our indice pairs and kind of go from there. See what's happening when it comes down to these movements. Dow Jones end up giving us a push, and Lord knows since that's happened, since that was at 31, it was at 31.30. I'm sorry, it was at 31.160 when the market ended up making this movement. Fell down to 31.900, and then after that started to be able to move up to the upside. Ikimoku clouds and being able to make that breakout from that movement has been showing that it's ready to be able to go. But the true movement actually happened when the market was at 30,850. We caught the move at 30,850, but we did not ride that move out. And I'm kind of, once again, kind of looking at that and kind of kicking myself, because we've seen this earlier when we got in at 31,460. But we've been taking small partial little profits off of this move. Now, we talked about this in last night's session. We end up saying, okay, well, take away that sell entry, because we end up canceling out that one quickly. If you notice, the market behavior has been different now over the summertime. Remember, summertime is when you end up seeing consolidation and you end up seeing mainly vortex movements. So we go all the way back when, let's see, the start of the summer, we end up seeing this big push to the upside, kind of rose up, and it's just been consolidation drop, mainly based off of looking at the bottom profile and kind of using that to your advantage. But since then, typically in October, the market kind of gets into an accumulation phase, and once it ends up getting into that accumulation phase, then after that, you start to see the market start to push. Now, ultimately, what I've been seeing is less consolidation and more mean reversion, meaning that market has pushed up, retraced, and then after that, you have a push from there. So a breakout, retracement, extension, breakout, retracement, extension, breakout, retracement, extension. We're looking at the same when it comes down to this movement right here. Hopefully, we're not going to see a double top in this area as this market is trying to be able to make this move. But that is what I have been noticing overall. So we might have to change up our game plan and being able to say, okay, well, when the market ends up giving us a counter trend line break, because the market is starting to trend a little bit, we can be able to take advantage of those positions. But let's talk about an open pocket area that we need to be able to look at and take advantage of. When it comes down to a sheer volume number, there's a large drop off when the market ends up getting up to that 31,900 area. I'm saying 31,920 to be safe when it comes down to that movement. From 31,920, we have two areas where we can be able to take advantage of. The first one will end up being at 32,400. And then the second area will end up being all the way up to 32,640. Now, why is that significant? The market ended up breaking this movement to the upside in September, when the market ended up pushing above that based off of that GDP, based off of Jerome Powell being able to speak, based off of FOMC, and the market ended up making that big 1,500 move to the downside, 1,500 point move to the downside. So all we're doing is going back up to those places, just like what happened with the United States dollar. When the market ended up finding a support, when the market breaks the support, it finds another support to be able to go to. Now we're breaking resistances. So essentially what I'm saying is that when we break one resistance, all you got to do is just look at the previous consolidation box that we end up having, and I think that it's moving back up to that next consolidation area. So the last free run area will be right around 31,660 or 31,650. We end up having a major push to the downside in August and in early September when they end up happening. So Keep that in mind. I think that we probably might end up seeing another move like that. Uh, my hope is that even with my automation systems, that uh, if we're looking at this move starting to reject a little bit, just because GDP is going to end up coming out tomorrow, and I think it's going to stabilize, that we can be able to take a little bit of advantage of that overall movement. Currently, right now, my automation system is actually in a buy off of this one, and I'm starting to see a little bit of consolidation. I'm seeing the last little peak before we have this movement to the upside. So I'm kind of questioning if I should stay in or if I should go ahead and get out, at least be able to take a little bit of profit based off of this movement. But I do see that we have another slight consolidation that's starting to be able to build out. There goes your resistance right there. Here goes your support. This market basically gets back inside of this consolidation area. The next area where I will look at being able to get in, if you're looking at potentially being able to make a move, we end up being at 31,870 towards the upside. So 31,870 will be towards the upside, and then after that, trying to ride that out to 32,650. Remember, 2 points of being able to pay attention will be 32,400, and then after that, 32,650. 32,400, 32,650. What's going on, Peter? US yen may jump with DXY news today before it collapse. Yeah, maybe, but I don't think. Remember, the news is not really coming out until tomorrow. GDP is not coming out until tomorrow, so today is going to end up being consolidation day. At least in my mind, I think it's going to be a consolidation today. I think that we end up getting the first. Typically, when you end up having large news, you end up having like that one the day before. You end up getting that one big push that ends up happening, and then from that one big push, you end up seeing the market start to consolidate, try to get everybody in, and then after that, minutes before the news actually comes out, the market starts to be able to make a move. Uh, Typically, the move before is always a fake out, and then after that, you have the true move. So we'll see how it kind of plays out. But I don't think that we're probably going to end up having like a major move today. I just don't see that happening. I think that we'll like I said, I think we'll see consolidation today. At least that's what at least from going based off the previous history of being able to understand the pair and kind of understand what's going on from an overall market movement. That's what I think. Nas 100. Nas 100 hit I take profit yesterday. If you end up doing that, congratulations. If you did strategy 4, uh, strategy 4 would have took you out unless you would have entered back in. Strategy 4 fell below that 10,950 area, but definitely we end up hitting it based off of the first move that was on September 20th. We end up catching it again when the market ended up breaking out of this consolidation area again earlier yesterday. And being able to push it back up to that 11,650 number. As soon as they hit 11,650, just like anything else, reject it right back up. If we're looking at this market basically giving us that same type of trend behavior where we're having, where we're able to get in based off of counter trend line breaks. There goes your first counter trend line break. Here's your second counter trend line break. Oh, don't I would like to be able to have that back. Uh, Here's your second counter trend line break. Your third counter trend line break is actually showing up, and there could be a potential chance of that happening. But um, I think I would kind of still kind of wait to see how that's going to end up reacting. High impact news that I'm looking at, I think would kind of not necessarily worry me, but I think I would kind of be a little bit more hesitant when it comes down to that movement. DAX, we end off with DAX today because I am in DAX pairs right now. Got placed in at 13,033 and 13,250 when it came down to those movements. So I want to see how market is reacting based off of that. You took the trade that we ended up suggesting. What day was this? This had to be 2 days ago. No, I'm sorry. This had to be on Monday. Market ended up pushing up at 12,980. We expected that the market was going to end up getting up to 13,160. Currently, right now, the market is at 13,110. It ended up pushing up to 150. Actually, ended up pushing up to 147. So, got close to being able to hit it. I don't know if I want to take partial profit, if I want to sit up there and kind of let it play itself out. I think I'm going to let it play itself out just a little bit, but I am going to keep my eyes out on it because we had a chance of being able to get out, and it just never happened. So that'll be the next position of being able to take full profit off of a move. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Unless there's a pair that y'all would like for me to take a look at. Do you think the oil will come out of that consolidation area today? Let me take a look at oil. Um, maybe not breaking out of consolidation news area today. Well, maybe it will because the Canadian dollar is having that. Okay, thank you. Everything, thank you. Good. I always can be able to trust in you to be able to remind me about something. We got to take a look at U.S. Canadian dollar. It wouldn't surprise me that U.S. Canadian dollar is the last pair that has not broken out of a move yet. And if that's the case, then that may be a big move for the Canadian dollar. It already started to drop. Oh man, that's on me. That's on me. Okay. Okay. So Canadian dollar's already dropped, so that means that what's happening with oil? Hold on, we talked about oil, did we? I said I wanted to get in at 87.25, but I think I want to. I think I need to pay attention to it a little bit more tightly when it comes down to that. Let me explain what I mean. Uh, the real resistance is right here. I'm seeing the market has not been able to break out of that area right there. We've seen what 5 times at this particular point that the market has not been able to break above at the high 86. Okay, so we're above the counter trend line, which is good. I believe that the market could get to 94, but I think that the market has a better chance. If the market gets up to 94, then we're talking about being able to go up to that 102 number that we talked about earlier from a daily move. Let's do it. Let me go ahead and get a trade plan set up for oil. Yeah, because if you look at what ended up happening on oil as well. There goes your counter trend line breaking moving as well. I think the market could fall down a little bit before being able to push back up ultimately. Um, so I'm going to place a pending order instead of a instant order at this point in time, and kind of go from there. Um, yeah, I'm going to place in a pending order. Pending order is going to end up being at. I'm going to give it some room. I'm going to say 86. That means let's see. We want to be safe. Let's see. Let's see. I'd rather be safe. I don't want to say 86.40 because I think we're getting in a little bit too late. The market's going to have to retest this overall area. I've seen this wick end up happening right here a few times. Yeah, I'm going to say 86. I'll place my stop loss way below the consolidation low anyway. We'll see how that kind of plays out. Okay, plays at 86. Stop loss 82.50. As Nas 100 ends up placing me in an order, and Nas 100 literally just placed me in an order on my automation systems. I don't know if I trust that one, but we'll see. Um, I think that it's missing. I think it's missing that overall move that just happened. I think it would jump the third time to pass. Well, yeah, and um, even if it doesn't, then I'm still kind of comfortable with being able to say that I'm okay with allowing the move to kind of play itself out before being able to jump up. Uh, Remember, winter months is when this move typically ends up making its biggest move, um, because obviously people use oil as a supply and demand type of thing to be able to keep homes hot and everything else like that. So, 94.50 will end up being that first take profit area. I'm not even going to look at 88. Well, no, I might look at split my orders. But if you want to get out early, the first early move on this one's definitely going to end up being 88.50. If you're just looking for just a breakout and a move to the top, you may end up saying 88.50. Some people may end up saying, if we're being very honest, 89. But 88.50 will be that area where I would say if you're trying to get out early, that would be the position to be able to get out early. I feel good about it, but the question is, what is going to be the news from the Canadian dollar, and what is going to be the news from the GDP, and how it's going to end up affecting everything. And to be honest, what is the conversation when it comes down to what's happening with the war, and how is that affecting the overall market when it comes down to movement as well. So all of those things are a factor. Keep that in mind as we make that push. But I am placing in that order right now. I do have a pending order set up for that one, and ready to go. So first, I'm putting my take profit at 94.50. I'm gonna place in another one at 88.51 as well. Heck, I just got placed in. Just got placed in. Go figure. Okay. 88.51 will end up being that next area as well. I just got placed in. Wasn't even paying attention to it. Bam, there it is. All right. So confirmation above 87. I do agree that confirmation will be above 87. 87.25 is definitely the confirmation. But um, we'll see how that kind of plays out. Want to see what's going to end up being the move off of that. You like what I end up doing? Please make sure that you end up clicking on that boost button. I definitely appreciate that as market is. As we are kind of getting into quarter number 4 and starting to be able to see these things kind of grow for its overall movements. Um, Obviously we've been talking about some of these moves for a while. It's go time. We've been talking about how October's push-tober when it comes down to everything we've been doing and being preparing ourselves for this overall movement. So hopefully everything plays in our favor. Hopefully we can be able to make the most out of these movements as they are kind of breaking out and starting being able to make the initial move to the upside. Like always, make sure that you end up planning your trade and trading your plan. And like always, I'll see each and every one of y'all in the next video as we go through and be able to place everything in. Uh, People that are part of the community, obviously, we end up contacting y'all a little bit later on today. If you're interested in being able to learn a little bit more about it, obviously hit me with a private message and we end up going from there. Everybody, plan your trade your plan. Take it easy.